3D Girl AB, and this is part 2 on how to make a 3D model for animation. So in the last video, we loaded a reference image, and in this video, we're going to start modeling the sword. So I'm going to press 7 for my top view and decide which polygon primitive I'm going to start with. So sometimes when you get a reference image for different parts of the model, you might get a front reference, a back reference, and a side reference. But sometimes you will only get one reference and you have to do certain guesses on how to make the model based off of that one reference. So for example here, I only have one reference of the sword. So I'm looking at the sword, and by the looks of the handle, I'm going to start with the handle. I'm guessing that this handle is round. Now to start the model, being that I decided that the handle is a bit round, I'm going to use a cylinder. Now I can load a cylinder inside the viewport, but I also have a cylinder saved for a specific reason. So first I'm going to load a cylinder. I'm going to press Shift A, Mesh, bring in cylinder, and as you can see I have a cylinder. I can of course press Add Cylinder, and it's best to press this before you press anything else or else it will disappear, and I can bring it down to 8. Now if you've already seen my past videos, one of the things I always mention is that you should stay away from n-gons, which is faces that have more than 4 sides. So if I press Tab for my object mode and I go to my face mode by pressing 3, you can see that this face up top here and this face below here are both n-gons. I'm going to press Delete, press Faces, and now they're gone. I'm going to press 2 for my edge mode, hold on to Alt, select this edge right here, press E to extrude, press S for scale, bring it in, then I can press M, press at center, and they will merge. I can do the same for the bottom. Press E, then press S, bring it in, M for center, and then I can press 1, see where my center line is, so I know to avoid edges in the center line. Select these edges right here, every other one while holding on to Shift. Press Delete, and then press Dissolve Edges. So now I have quads where the n-gons used to be. Now, of course, I can do this every time I bring in a cylinder, but of course, this will get tedious. So I already have a cylinder from another project where I already changed the n-gons into quads. So I'm going to press Tab for my object mode, cylinder already selected, and I press Delete. So the reason why I already have a cylinder saved where I already changed the n-gons into quads is to help me work faster so that I don't always have to change the n-gons into quads every time I need a cylinder. So in another Blender file, I had turned the n-gons into quads for a cylinder, then I went to File, then I went to Export, and I saved it as an FBX. So now to bring in that cylinder that I had changed its n-gons into quads in another Blender file, I'm going to go to File, Import, FBX, go to where I saved it, click on it, and bring it in. So that saves me the extra steps of changing the n-gons into quads. Now the two faces still look like n-gons, but when I press Tab and I go to Edit mode, you can see the quads right there. As you can see, some of the edges are marked blue. That means that the edges, for whatever reason, are marked as sharp. To fix that, I can press A to select all edges, go to Edge, and go to Clear Sharp, and now that problem is fixed. You may notice that the shading of the faces are off, but we will fix that later. So now I'm going to go back to my object mode, press 7, press G for grab, press Y, and I'm going to move it back. So of course the cylinder is too large, so I'm going to press S for scale and bring it in. And now I'm going to press R for rotate and press X and rotate it along the X axis. I'm going to press N, see how far I rotated it, and I'm going to type in 90 so that it's a little bit more accurate. Now I'm going to press G again to grab, press Y, and bring it down over the sword. And I'm going to go to my wireframe mode. I'm going to press N to get rid of that menu there. I'm going to press S and bring it in. going to press G again and start from right about here. I'm going to zoom in, press S for scale and bring it in. Press G again, bring it up to right about here. Press S, bring it in just a little bit. So now, before I continue, I'm going to go to my outliner and see it says cylinder here. So when you're 3D modeling for an animation or a game, you're part of a pipeline and you have to send your model over to someone. So to make things easier for example, a rigger or a texture artist, it's best that different parts of the model is named. Earlier, I had researched what the different parts of the sword is called. I'm tempted to call this handle, but the correct term for it is grip. So I'm going to go to cylinder, double click it, and change it to grip. So now if I hand this over to a rigger or a texture artist and they need to texture just the grip, they can just go to the outliner, select it, and work from there. So now I'm going to go back to the cylinder. I'm going to press tab for edit mode, and I'm going to press 2 for edge mode. Because I'm in wireframe, I can select edges by doing this. And I know that the edges that are not shown is also being selected because I'm in wireframe mode. As a 3D modeler, you're trying to model as fast and as efficient as possible. So I, of course, can continue to extrude and follow along the shape. But a simpler way to do this would be to just press G, Y, and bring all the way down. And then start making modifications right here. So I can press Ctrl R, add that edge right there, press G, then press X to move it, and start making adjustments. And I'm going to continue to do this. And as I'm moving the edges to go along the shape, I'm also looking at the size of it. So for example here, I can press S and bring it in just a little bit to match the shape more. And I'm going to continue to do this until the shape matches the grip. Now you're trying to also have as much clean topology as possible. So if you notice, when I press Ctrl R, I click and keep the edge in the middle, and it helps to keep it more uniform instead of me just randomly putting the edge anywhere. And I'm doing this to keep the topology as clean as possible. Also too, you will notice that when I'm using scale, I'm pressing S, and I'm not pressing S and X to scale along the X axis, because since I'm making this round, if I only scale in a certain axis, it's not going to be round. It's only going to scale in that axis. Versus if I was doing a more square-like grip, it would be different. I would only have to scale in a certain axis. For example, probably the X axis. Now, obviously there's a certain design here, so I'm going to leave this part for right now and continue to work on the parts up here. Going to look around to see if there's any more edges I should add. You can also hold on to Shift to slow down the scale. So now I'm going to start to think about the curves more. So I'm going to press Ctrl R and I'm going to click and slide this up to right about here. And now I'm going to go to my vertex mode and start adjusting the vertices. I press G and Y to move along the Y axis. And now I'm going to adjust these right here. I'm going to undo that. I can also press proportional editing, press GY and bring it up using proportional editing. And I'm going to scroll to bring the circle down. And now I'm making more of a curve right here. Seeing how smoother that curve is, I would prefer to have used it up here. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo that. Press Ctrl Z to undo these vertices right here. My proportional editing is already selected. I'm going to press GY and bring it up. I'm going to select this vertex again, GY, bring it up. Select this vertex right here, GY, bring it down just a little bit. GX, bring it in just a little bit. Now I'm going to look down here. Go press Ctrl R, select it right there, put it right there, select this vertex right here. Well, actually, let me deal with these vertices first. My proportional editing is already selected. Press GY, bring it up, and enlarge the circle. GX, bring it out to the side a little bit. Now I'm going to select this vertex right here. GY, bring it down. Adjust this one, GY, bring it up just a little bit. As you can see, there's a little indent there, but I will worry about that later. I'm going to press, well, before I press Ctrl R, I'm going to select this vertex right here. GY, bring it down. GX, bring it to the side. GY, bring it down a little bit more. GY, bring it down. Now I'm going to press Ctrl R, bring it up just a little bit. My proportional editing is still on. I'm going to select this vertex, GY. Enlarge the circle just a little bit. Well, not too much. Adjust this one, GY, bring it down. Ctrl R again, slide it down just a little bit. Continue to make the adjustments. I'm going to take off proportional editing for this one. Select this vertex right here. GY, bring it up just a little bit. GY, bring it up just a little bit. I'm going to come out of wireframe, look around it. Press 7 again. So this topology, to me, is a little bit off. So I'm going to press 7. I'm going to go back to wireframe. Set this vertex right here, GX. bring it out to the side, GY, bring it up just a little bit. For these two vertices right there, press S then Y, bring them in just a little bit more, GY, bring this vertex down, GY, bring this vertex up just a little bit, GY, bring these vertices down. Going to come out of wireframe mode. I think these vertices need to be adjusted more, so I'm going to go back to 7, go back to wireframe mode. Select these vertices right here, GY, bring it up just a little bit, GX, bring it to the side, press S for scale, bring it out just a little bit. Select these vertices, GY, bring them down just a little bit, S, make it just a little bit bigger, GX, bring it to the side, GY, bring these down just a little bit, GX, bring it to the side, GY, bring it up just a little bit, S, hold on to shift, bring it in just a little bit, GX, bring it in. So of course I'm making adjustments. This one up here needs a little bit more of a curve. Let's select these vertices right here, GY, bring it up, GX, bring it in. I'm just going to press G, grab it, and adjust. So now I'm going to press 2 for face mode, and I'm going to select these faces right here. And select these right here. So again, only one reference is being used. And when I'm looking at this grip, I know a lot of swords tend to have a leather part around the grip. And so I'm guessing that this part right here is a separate part. And when I say separate, not separate as in this is 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, but separate as in technically there's 1 part here, but then there's a leather part outside of it. So what I'm going to do is, to make that part separate, I'm already in face mode, and now with these faces selected, I'm going to come out of wireframe, and I'm going to press Shift D. And if I move it, you'll see that I had duplicated the faces. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z again, press Shift D again. I had duplicated it. I'm going to click. I'm going to press 7. So with those faces selected now, I'm going to press E to extrude. Going to click, but the extrusion is still there. I can then press Shrink Flatten, or I can just press Alt S. I'm going to bring out just a little bit. Going to look to see if there's a little indent. Yes, there is. Very slight. I'm going to zoom in. But you can see there's a very slight indent. So now I'm going to press 7 again. Go to my wireframe mode. And I want to make these indents right here. So I'm going to press 2 for my edge mode. I'm going to hold on to Alt, select these edges right here, hold on to Shift Alt, and select these edges right here. I'm now going to press Ctrl B for bevel. Bring it out just a little bit. I'm going to press E for extrusion. Click so it stays right there. And now I'm going to press Alt S for shrink flatten and bring it in just a little bit. Going to come out of my orthographic view, see how it looks. Come out of my wireframe. because I want it to be slight. I'm going to press Alt S again and bring it in just a little bit the other way. So it is happening slightly. I'm going to press Alt S again and continue to bring it in just a little bit. I'm going to press Tab to go into my object mode. And so I now have the base for the grip. In the next video, I'm going to do some editing to the grip.